Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Hey, today I'm going to tell you all about money here in Cambodia, especially the Riel. I think it's important that more people use Riel. They do accept USD here, as you know. But if you're going to be staying here long term, you want to get familiar with the Riel and how all that works, and hopefully I can help you avoid some mistakes that I made when I first got here, and sometimes they still happen. I have to be honest with you. In case you don't know, and here's the first thing you should know if you don't, there are no coins here. They don't accept coins of any kind, from any country, just no coins whatsoever. And that was my first mistake. I did not know that when I first came over here, and I came over here with a baggie, and it had some coins I had back home that was in a jar. It was only $30 worth, and I didn't know what to do with it once I got here. Once I found out they didn't take it, and eventually I just found somebody going back to the United States that agreed to give me cash in exchange for the coins. A fair exchange there. But yeah, so if you do have any coins laying around, get rid of those, do something with them before you even come over here, because they're basically worthless. But they do have some paper money here that is the equivalent of coins. The bills you're going to be mainly working with here, these are not the only ones, but the ones you're going to mainly see and use on a day-by-day basis for your daily needs, and receiving back in change if you use USD, are going to be the 100 Riel note. That is worth 2 cents. That's right, it's worth a couple of pennies, but they do add up after a while. Then you'll have the 500 Riel note. Now that is worth 12 cents. Technically 12.5 cents, but trying to keep it easy here. So let's just say right around 12 cents is the 500 Riel note. And then you have the 1,000 Riel note. Now we're getting somewhere, because that's worth a whole 25 cents. that's worth a whole quarter. So yeah, we're getting up there now. And those ones are very common. Now they also have 2,000 Riel notes, which is worth 50 cents, and even 3,000 Riel notes now, which is worth 75 cents, but you don't see those as often. So it's not likely you're going to get a lot of them, but just keep in mind that they are available, and you might get them occasionally. But the next one you're probably going to use a lot is the 5,000 Riel note. And that one is worth $1.25. A lot of things here cost like 5,000 Riel, $1.25. So you'll be seeing that one a lot. And then you have the 10,000 Riel note, which is of course $2.50. The 20,000 Riel note, which is $5, and then the 50,000 Riel note, which is worth $12.50. So, and they do have denominations that are higher and everything, but yeah, generally you won't see those unless you're dealing with a large sum of money from a bank or something. But for your everyday, day-to-day purchases and transactions, those are the ones you're going to see the most. Now what you don't want to do, and I've had this happen not only on my end making a mistake, but also from vendors making a mistake. And the first thing you should know is that nobody's trying to rip you off. They're not trying to intentionally take your money, but mistakes do happen. It's very common here, and you should learn to follow suit. When you purchase something and you're receiving money back, count your change before you leave the store, or you leave the front of the counter, or wherever you are. I know back in America that might seem a little funny, because you're insinuating that you don't trust the clerk, that maybe they're trying to rip you off, and it might feel a little funny. But here everybody does it. All the locals do it. They know not to leave wherever they are if they're getting change back until they count it, make sure it's correct, because mistakes do happen. They don't happen all the time and every day, but they do happen enough where you don't want to take more than what you're supposed to receive, and of course you don't want to give more than what the item was actually worth. And One time I went to pay for something that cost 50 cents. I had a 2,000 real note, and so I got my product. I gave it to the woman, and as I was debating if I wanted anything else, she taps me on the shoulder and hands me 18,000 real change, and I didn't know what for. And then it quickly dawned on me that she took my 2,000 real note, but she thought it was 20,000 real note. So she thought I was, I gave her 50 cents. She thought I was giving her $5, and she gave me the change back. Of course, that wasn't right. Now, obviously, I corrected it, and I explained and gave it back to her. I'm not a monster. But yeah, mistakes like that do happen. And one time I tried to pay with, for a couple meals that we had, it was the total was 10,000 real, $2.50, and I wasn't paying attention, and I just gave her 1,000 real and went to walk away. I thought it was a 10,000 real note, but it was only 1,000, and so she had to go, hey, wait a minute here, what are you trying to pull, mister? No, she was very nice about it because they're all aware mistakes happen, and I was like, oh man, I just had a whole stack of reels and wasn't quite paying attention to grab the right one. Well, but then on the other hand, I've had people, vendors. I was supposed to get back 18,000 real. I did spend 50 cents and had a 20,000 real note, and they only gave me 12,000 because they made a mistake in the calculations. And so I counted it and said, hey, I give you this, and yeah, it was no problem. Like, nobody's getting angry or, no, you're trying to steal from me. Yeah. So just be aware that mistakes, they do happen. And so just like anywhere else, of course, but you're dealing with different money now. You do want to know how much your total purchase is going to be, how much you are giving them, and of course how much change you should expect, if any, if you don't have the exact change. And while that's common anywhere, like you don't go into a store in the United States and go, here's just some money. Here, I don't care how much it costs. Don't worry about it. But when you're dealing with a different currency, sometimes you have to do the math in your head real quick and try to figure out if you're getting the right amount back. And it might, if you're like me and you're math is not your strong suit. If you're like me and you struggle with it, that can be an issue sometimes. But pretty soon you'll acclimate. And even though the country does take USD, as I said, I think using Riel is probably the best. It's better for their economy. Plus the USD bills, if you use them, they have to be so pristine. They are so picky about those. I've said this before many times, but yeah, you can't have a little tear. You can't have any markings. They can't be wrinkled. The corner can't be bent. I mean, any little mark or mar on the USD bills, they will not accept. And the vendors here, they've been doing this for a long time, and they are eagle-eyed. Like, I went to pay for something with a $10 US bill, and there was a little tiny, minuscule little rip in one of the corners. So small I didn't even notice it, and they picked up on that right away and said, nope, we can't take it, because there's a high quality standard when it comes to USD. But with a real note, basically, as long as it's all there, as long as it's not ripped in half or anything, they'll take it. It can be crinkled up in your pocket, and scrunched all up, and yeah, it doesn't matter. As long as it's all there and you can read the denominations, they will take it. And it's also important to keep in mind that it's not, USD is not an official currency in Cambodia, but they do accept it here, and at all places, all businesses, they do accept it, but they're not obligated to take it if it's in a condition where they don't feel they're going to be able to take it to the bank and have it accepted. If you do have something wrong with the USD bill, take it to a money exchange place. It will cost you some money to exchange it, but a lot of these places will give you a fresh, crisp bill for whatever marked up bill you have. So that's really no problem at all. It'll just cost you a little extra. That's why I always say when you get money, even if you get it in USD, change it to Riel as soon as possible. You'll just have a much easier time, I think. All right, and be sure to check out all my links down below. I have links down there if you want to purchase my books. I have links down there if you want to help support the channel through PayPal and Ko-Fi.com. That's always appreciated. And I will talk to you guys in the next one.